here is why the right wing will fail. And I don't mean the TPUSA types. I don't mean the people who go on Prager University and whine about being cancelled. I mean the people who are sensible centrists, or people who know what sensible centrism even is. Those sorts of people. You guys are going to fail. And the reason is that there seems to be a failure in the understanding between the distinction between the academic and the actually real. There's a lot of study and a lot of reading going on that portion of the right, a lot of philosophizing, but not a whole lot of doing and failing and learning. There's a whole lot of streams between people who are friends with each other, and that's fine, of course, have friends. But nobody's actually really engaging anybody. The only person I can think of who's doing this is Nick Fuentes, of all people, right? And I think I go on record as saying that I don't fully agree with what he preaches. Likewise, another person who you guys could stand to learn from, Andrew Tate, right? Andrew Tate, the man who is currently, as far as I understand, being held for trial in Romania, is somebody that you can learn from. Why? Because the man has successfully built himself up to such a point that he will never ever have to worry about eating again. Just because of his notoriety, there will be people who will want to read his works. There will be people who want to investigate his podcasts, and so he'll always have some sort of revenue coming in. Whereas I don't see anybody in the sensible centrist portion of the right really doing this at all. There isn't enough targeted attacks on mainstream beliefs. Because ultimately, if you want to be able to survive, you're going to need to fail a lot. I don't see a lot of failure. And I don't see a lot of going after mainstream figures explicitly. Or going after their ideas explicitly in a way that reaches people. If you want to succeed, you need to get attention, you need to fail, and you need to learn from the mistakes. And I'm not talking about this for individual people, I'm talking about this as a movement. There will be people who will do this, and they will be broken. Like, it's as simple as that. But if you want to stop the drag queen story time, then you need to really start turning up the heat. Not in this silly kind of cringe, mainstream right kind of way, but really turn up the heat. I mean, like, provide not only, like, ordered polemic against things that are false, but also ordered polemic that has a strong philosophical basis. I mean, do you see these academic types being particularly threatened by, I don't know, your average right-winger, the person who just says a woman is a woman because it's a woman? No. What you need to do is, behind the ordered polemic, and I mean ordered, no unnecessary insulting and stuff like that, we've got to follow our moral principles here. Because that's another thing as well, like, hypocrisy is something that we ought to avoid. It doesn't work for them because everyone knows that they're very obviously immoral. We need to keep moral principle, and we also need to provide a philosophical alternative, and frankly the right doesn't do that. It's a big tent, and in trying to be a big tent, it loses the specificity that is necessary to provide a proper counter against things like transgenderism, or against other things like gay marriage. Nobody can agree on a specific detailed framework for why transgenderism is something that shouldn't involve the slicing off of the penises of little boys. We can't say something like, oh, we define sex on the basis of the efficient causality in the act of reproduction, right? For example, to use big highfalutin words, right? Basically, women get pregnant and men make women pregnant, right? Nobody can agree on this. There's constant, like, this weird toleration going on with pagans. I don't understand it. Why would we need pagans? There seems to be, this is a friend of mine actually in real life who's like, well, you tradcaths, you need us. No, we don't. Why would we need this group? If anything, they just drag us down. Because they fundamentally have different views of religion from us. Their views philosophically are often incoherent, and they tend to engage in degeneracy. Like, as frankly, they have different standards of what is right and wrong. But you have no standardization across the right, so you can't give one big oomph either. It's not even that you're not criticizing the right people or criticizing the right ideas, it's that there's no organized oomph against anything. There's just this weird big tent thing as if this is the Conservative Party or something. So, that's a rant. just some thoughts. I don't know if it's gonna have a good or a bad response. I suspect a lot of people will probably read in the comments. And that would be a good thing. But hopefully it will get people thinking. Because I hope that I haven't ranted incoherently here. But that is my view on it. And I think that people should begin to start looking into doing that. There needs to be people who will take a risk. Another thing as well, I remember the Distributist made a video wondering why there aren't any leaders in the alt-right. It's precisely for this reason. There is no pressure to generate the virtue that would be necessary for a good leader. There's no pressure whatsoever. Nobody's getting their head hacked off. We all work, lower middle and, middle class jobs. Well, almost all of us anyway. You have no pressure. So there's no pressure to succeed. So it's no wonder there's no good leaders. But yeah, just some thoughts. Please subscribe to my Patreon, and I'll probably start diversifying my funds in a little bit, and I will have my project out hopefully fairly soon that I've been hinting at. See you guys later, and goodbye.